I am an American by birth and by upbringing, but I have lived in Nigeria now since 1973, which is 47 years now. I went to school in the United States, and during the time that I was an undergraduate student, I met my husband, who would later become my husband, and we got married and we came back here. And then I proceeded to get a job first at the Polytechnic Ibadan for a short period, and then at the University of Ibadan, where I taught for 38 years, 18 of which were as professor. I taught rural sociology in the Department of Agricultural Extension and Rural Development at the University of Ibadan in the Faculty of Agriculture and Forestry. And I have been very fortunate to also have been given the opportunity to do quite a lot of consultancy, which helped me to travel all around the country and outside the country as well. I did not have any idea what I was getting into, quite frankly, when I got married. I had no idea even where Africa or Nigeria was, because by that time there was no CNN, there was very little information. You couldn't Google to get information. So I came here really not knowing what to expect. But by the grace of God and with a wonderful family that I married into, they accepted me with all of my very naive ways and lack of understanding of much of the culture. But I also felt that when I came here, I felt this is permanent. This is, my husband did not deceive me in any way. He told me as soon as we began thinking about marriage, he told me that he was not the type of person to go and stay in another man's country for a long time, that as soon as he finished his PhD, he was coming back to Nigeria. So I had no visions of staying in America. I knew I was coming to Africa, though I didn't know really what that meant. And I really didn't know what it meant to be married to an African, because in America, you're nuclear family. I had one mother, one father, one brother, one sister, a few aunts and uncles and cousins. But I came to Nigeria, and all of a sudden I'm bombarded with a huge family with so many mothers and fathers and aunties and uncles and brothers and sisters, many of whom stayed with us. Many of my husband's Abrus stayed with us. And it was really an African home. Now, it was a bit difficult in the beginning because I didn't understand so many things about the culture. I didn't understand many things about the language, food, and I had left behind essentially everything that I knew. So it was a period of real serious immersion into another culture, but I think my background as a sociologist also helped me. And I was determined that I was not going to be a spectator, but I was going to be a participant in this new way of life.
Homevest is a development by RealVest, which has taken up the responsibility of providing quality, flexible payment and affordable homes for Nigerians, both at home and abroad, especially UK, US and Canada. This provides Nigerians with a plan that enables them to become house owners in 7 years or less, with payment from as low as 50,000 Naira monthly. You can move in on completion of half of total payment. We have over 14,000 investors and subscribers from 13 countries, including UK, US and Canada, who have enjoyed consistent returns on investment with us. Our pilot locations are Lagos State, Ogun State, Kwara State, Imo State, Oyo State, FCT Abuja and Delta State. Take advantage of this opportunity and become a house owner today. Choose Homevest by clicking on the registration button now. Exenic is the UK representative and marketer of Homevest in UK and Europe. For further inquiries, send text to this WhatsApp number +447 983 439 082. RealVest, your assurance for affordable home.
When I grew up, going to secondary school and so on, in world geography, they would talk about the dark continent. There was still a lot of stereotypes, a lot of misconceptions about you know, what life in Africa was really like. Still the Tarzan kind of movie ideas and so on. So when I came here, I was pleasantly surprised that it was really quite very modern, and that the way of life was very comfortable. When also my parents came to Nigeria in 1978 and again in 1982, so they were much more at ease when they came and they saw that we were living in a very comfortable home. From the time I came, I felt that Nigeria was so blessed by every kind of conceivable resource that there is known to man. Whether it's human resources, natural resources, financial resources, you know, every type of resource, physical resources, everything. And the Nigeria that I met in 1973 was different than the Nigeria here. When I started teaching, I found that the students were more serious and more interested in education, and the standards were higher. Even people who were teaching were concerned about ensuring that they were teaching very, very well. And people were doing their jobs with a sense of dignity. They didn't wait before somebody bribed them or somebody you know, forced them to do their job. Everybody felt, even whether at whatever level, from the highest to the lowest, people felt that, yes, I have a job to do, and they felt that dignity and their, you know, responsibility to do it. I think to a large extent some of our social values have eroded, and that we have had a problem of management of resources of all types. Nigeria is so blessed, and we should not be having the level of poverty that we have. We should not be having the standard of living, the standard of the level of unemployment, the level of a standard of education, all of these kinds of things. We should not be having problems there if we have used our resources in a better way. I used to say that, well, you cannot change history. But if during the time when Nigeria first started making a lot of money from the oil resources and so on, if they had used that money to develop the rural areas, instead of assuming that we have money to buy anything that we want, we don't have to produce anymore. That was the kind of thinking there was at that period. If we had really developed the rural areas, there would have not been this kind of migration on such a vast level from the rural areas to the urban areas. And today we would not be having the discussions that we're having about how to diversify the economy, how to improve upon agriculture. It would have improved if we had now recognized we need to add value to our raw materials instead of just exporting the raw materials and importing back the refined ones.